What is up, fight fans? We're back with another fight prediction. The long-awaited return of the GOAT on many people's lists. Jon Jones, UFC 285. Jon Jones versus Gane. We say this often, but this one's a freaking stacked card, so we're excited to get into it. So let's do that.
Are you ready? I'm ready. Are you ready? I'm ready. Are you ready? I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's go.
I'm
Cheers,
ready.
brother.
Cheers.
Got grapefruit this time. What you got over there?
I have wise beer, wheat beer.
Fucking
It's good.
so
Straight.
cultured, brother. Do you ever drink anything from America nowadays?
Rarely. What to drink? Bud Light. If they start sponsoring us, I'm gonna drink it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, American drinks aren't that great.
No, I drink. There is many good, like from the small breweries and that, like IPAs. There is very good ones.
Yeah,
Do sometimes, but like I guess lately I'm more on European beers. So
just don't drink all of our water. Not from every places. Like Ohio. This is completely unrelated, but don't drink the water in Ohio.
yeah, I heard stories. Even one city from Michigan, what is like Flint?
Oh yeah, Flint, Michigan. I don't know. Apparently that's good now. I don't know what to believe.
I don't know.
Anyways, I'm keeping it clean with some hard kombucha. I got grapefruit this time, so dude, I'm pumped for this car. How about you?
I am from the aspect as a fan. I am very pumped. As a aspect of betting, it's terrible. Like there's like
Yeah,
so
no.
much gaps in the odds. Like so on the main card I couldn't find anything. Even I think the undercard I still didn't. I usually dig up on Friday on undercard, and that's maybe something that we're gonna bring in the future. But first, guys, you need to get us a little bit love so we can put a little bit more effort in all this, even though we are putting enough. But for now, we're just doing main card, and like I said, it's from the betting perspective, it's not that good. So at least, like I think this weekend, I'm just gonna enjoy fights, maybe some over under round and a half, 2.5. Maybe I will chase something of that, but
I'm
man,
sure there's some live betting in your future. If I had to bet, I would say you're probably gonna make some live bets.
that's what I'm saying. Maybe even I'm gonna skip that and just enjoy the fights. Like, but we
Okay.
will see. Maybe I'm gonna go like what I usually go, but like my last weekend wasn't that good. Like you saw me on Saturday.
Yeah.
I was just like, turn the shit off. We are not gonna,
Dang, you
but
might be scared to bet this weekend. All right. Well, that's the
no,
thing is it's got something for everyone. It's got, the allure for the casual fans, the return of Jon Jones moving it back to heavyweight, but it's got something for the hardcores too, who I think are excited for Jon Jones to come back. But also, it's just stacked with elite talent. Everyone is either a champion or probably on their way to a championship. So just high level card. All right. Um, Man, like where to start? I guess with the main event, like
yeah,
I said, it's the return of Jon Jones. We'll see how this is not only the return, but it's first fight in heavyweight against a career heavyweight in Ciryl Gane. Um, Another exciting one is the co-main event: Valentina Shevchenko, the reigning champion, versus possibly the third Mexican champion in a row if she wins, Alexa Grasso. So that's a historic fight in the making. Jeff Neal versus Shavkat Rakhmonov. Rakhmonov's got a lot of attention, a lot of hype on him for very good reason. If you just watch his fights or you just look at his record, I mean, this guy can fucking fight. Mateus Gamrot showing up on short notice against Jalen Turner. That's a bad dude to be showing up for in general, but on short notice, credit to Mateus Gamrot for stepping up, who could possibly be a future champ. Speaking of future champs, Bo Nickel. This is like kind of my main event. Like I'm excited for Jon Jones, but Bo Nickel, I'm hyped about him. Jamie Pickett, his most experienced opponent to date, but I think I don't want to give you a spoiler and give you my pick, but I think you could already tell. So let's get right into it with the main event. Alex, who you got here? Jon Jones versus Ciryl Gane.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Jon Jones. You know, like I just think like in the wrestling department, Cyril is like a years behind him. You know, and that's the big weapon that Jones can use. You know, also I think lately with his performances, I think he just lost the motivation. You know, now I think moving to heavyweight, long break, it's gonna bring that motivation back, and we're gonna see Jon Jones what we saw in the best days of his career. You know, I really think that's gonna happen. You know, so Cyril, it's really stand-up fighter. You know, like really nicely whatever he does. You know, just like I think in wrestling department, he's behind Jones. You know, and Jones, whatever he sees, like his IQ in the cage is like I think best in the game, you know, and he knows how to explore your weaknesses. If you just go back to the Daniel Cormier, you know, who was his biggest nemesis, how he managed, like when he hurt him with that head kick, to not rush, to kick him on the calf and to spin him around and then to finish him. That's saying like what level Jon Jones is, like you know. And let's not say the youngest champion, you know. I don't know, is it still youngest? I think it is, you know. And how he in that era, how he destroyed who is who of MMA, you know. So I don't know. I just think it's gonna be too much if you go like even like experience in the cage and everything. I think it's just like a little bit early for Gan to get this victory, you know. So I'm gonna go with Jones.
Like right off the bat, I have to agree with you. I'm going for Jon Jones, but if I had to make an argument for why Ciryl Gane has a good chance of winning, like there is a lot to say there, right? He's a career heavyweight. He's used to fighting big guys. Jones, this is his heavyweight debut, and you could say that maybe he does well against heavyweights in training, but in a fight, it's a bit different, right? When they're really trying to finish each other, and Ciryl Gane is that guy that could finish you. He's used to knocking out other heavyweights. And like you said before, like his last three fights, maybe you could say Jon Jones was slipping. He didn't look like the same prime Jon Jones. Is that a motivation thing? Is that just a matter of he's been at the top for so long, and now that division has caught up to his skill level? They've been able to study him. He's got some of the most like fight footage to watch there. And I think he's kind of changed the game in a lot of aspects, like with his unorthodox striking, some of the elbows that he throws, kicks that he throws. And, a lot of people have eyes on him. It's not surprising that eventually the division will catch up. That being said, like I still think Jon Jones is going to find a way to win. You could say maybe he lost his last fight against Dominic Reyes, right? A lot of people say that. A judge actually gave the fight to Thiago Santos. That was a split decision, so you could say he's slipping there. I think he cleanly beat Anthony Smith, but again, it's not the same Jon Jones that would probably finish him when he's in his prime. So I say that to say, like, I actually believe him when he says that he was just not motivated. And I think like coming up to heavyweight, going against his biggest threat to date, someone who could knock him out, I think this might actually be the best Jon Jones that we've seen because the threat level is so high. He doesn't have to cut weight. He could have come back to the sport at any point in this 3-year gap, and he's choosing now probably because he's ready to come back. That's what it seems like. He's obviously gained the size that he's needed to compete at this level, like in that 3 years. So man, I'm excited. I think Jon Jones, I just don't know how he does it. I think the smart way would be to just wrestle him. Like you said, he's got such a wrestling advantage over Ciryl Gane, but historically he has a knack for taking the fight to where his opponent is strongest actually. So I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to strike with the heavyweight that they say moves like a middleweight. And I do think Ciryl Gane moves way better than the heavyweights and even the light heavyweights that Jon Jones has fought. So stylistically it's just an awesome match. But do you think Jon Jones can finish Gane?
I think so. If he comes as a motivated fighter that he was once upon a time, yeah, I think so. Especially like with that takedown, elbows on the ground, like. And let's not forget something. Jon Jones had like 11 title defense. Like so, probably I think 12 or 13 fights for the belt. Ciryl Gane has only 12 MMA fights.
Mhm.
That's a huge experience that's on
Yeah.
John's side, and that's something that we should not forget. Talking about what you said, like moving up to the heavyweight and everything, we saw like what Volkanovski did like a couple weekends ago. If you're a fighter and you're a good fighter, you're gonna adapt in your first try. And I think really he will. Only what also you said really really good. It's about like Jones trying to win in the field where that person is the strongest. They can be like a two-edged blade, and that's maybe something that can cost him defeat. Otherwise, I really don't see how Gan can win it. If Jones plays smartly, doesn't get clipped, there's also chance. You know, I think it's Jon Jones' night. So, but let's see and let's wait and see on Saturday. That's gonna be really like a cherry on the cake. On top of the cake for end of that night.
Alex, it's hard to talk about Jon Jones and then also mention Volkanovski and not have that debate over pound for pound. Like if he wins, or even before the fight, like is Jon Jones number one pound for pound? Should Volkanovski be up there? Like after this fight, like that's the number one thing people will be saying is if Jon Jones wins, is he the pound for pound? What do you think?
Yeah, I think he is. There is no doubt. Like his career, what he does, what he did. And Volkanovski, even though he looked really good and he's winning the fights, he never looked impressive as Jon Jones was
Mhm.
looked once upon a time. So that's something like that's not even for debate in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree. Like, the only knock you can give him, because like it's not his record, right? If you look at his record, he's undefeated, and there's nobody that even comes close to fighting and winning against former champions. Like he's got the highest level record. The only knock, of course, is the PEDs and the fact that he's tested positive multiple times. But an interesting thing I saw in an interview, and like the reporters confirmed this. He's since then been kind of vindicated from that. They changed the ruling for USADA. So the actual limit that he tested positive for, they changed it. So now he's actually under the threshold of like what is illegal. So if they tested him today and he tested the same way, he wouldn't have
Any
tested
issue?
positive.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. But let's leave this fight alone. Like interesting fact also. Like I don't know, did you watch Countdown? And I'm trying to stop conversation to move to the next fight, but like I don't want to forget this. They completely cut off Francis from the conversation. So when you have like like they're going through Gan and his career and
Wow,
everything,
really?
there is no mention even how it came to the fight that champion left the
Yeah.
vacant belt, nothing. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to like put some shit on UFC and especially Dana White and the ego, like how they are deleting the history, and that happened to multiple fighters.
Right.
Now it's happening to Francis, and I think that's a complete bullshit. Like I mean, I really like to follow UFC only because of the top athletes that they're competing, and that's like I think one of the best, like fighters in those categories. Even now, like there's like a big argument with a Bellator and there's champion. They have now 27-0 champion in welterweight. And it will be interesting even to start like a matching, like having like co-promotion, but like that will not happen.
Oh
They're
man.
still fighting for the for for the how to say for the market, and unfortunately we're gonna stay without that. And also one FC is coming now on the big door in America, so that's something interesting that we can follow more in the future and say fuck you to UFC only because of these things that they're doing to the fighters, who don't deserve to be deal with that, so
Yeah.
let's
I
see
mean, you can't really be surprised, right? I mean, They're masters at marketing for sure.
Yeah, and they're master in being the master and treats fighters as a slaves.
Yeah.
So that's what's really bothering me. And like this treatment that Francis got, like that you don't even mention the guy who was like yesterday the most scariest man on the world.
Right.
So I mean, it is how it is. Let's go to the next one. We spend enough time talking about Jon Jones. Let
Bro,
him.
a juicy fight, man. 3 years comeback. All right,
No,
we
I
can get
know.
man.
I know, and then it's weird. I mean, we didn't even talk that much about the styles, more about like what altitude this match is bringing. So let's see what's gonna happen.
That's what makes the fight exciting though. It's the story though, right? Like the
Yeah,
styles make fights, but what makes like the big promotions and people tuning in, it's the story for sure.
yeah. If you go with the styles and everything, how many people is gonna be interested in that? Only
Mhm.
few of us. Everything else is like story that they're selling. How many times even I swallow sometimes like their story when they're boosting the match, and you're like after that like what the fuck I was thinking. That's
Yeah.
crazy. But it is how it is. Let's go to the next story. We have
The next
Valentina.
story. Yeah, we got Alexa Grasso taking on the reigning champ Valentina Shevchenko. Uh, we're seeing the odds. I'm not surprised Valentina Shevchenko is a huge favorite, but Alex, are you giving Alexa Grasso a chance in this fight?
Honestly, little bit chance. I was so close to pick her over Valentina, but then I go back to her style and what she's bringing to the table. And you nicely said, like styles make a match. I really don't see that she can beat Valentina. I don't think she's powerful enough to put that pressure. Like even though in Valentina's last match, we saw her struggling. I think like even like that there was that wasn't that clash of the heads in the fourth round, and the eye was closed.
Hmm.
I think she would really like Talia was like having perfect match, man.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like even surprised one referee gave it like I think 49-46. I don't know what that guy was looking. I was really having Talia winning that fight against Valentina. And then even though her, yeah, Kathy wanted to say hi to you. Even though her eye was closed, like she even managed in that fourth round, but like it was short time to take the back to get the position. Like so it, the biggest question in this fight is like where is Valentina now? Like how many? Like she had 7 title defenses. Uh, this is the 8th one. Like it's come to the point like maybe where they're not motivated enough. And this challenge, it's not that big. I mean, it's big, but I don't think like Grasso is bringing enough to the table. Like she has really sharp stand up, good boxing, quick hands. But like in the wrestling department, like I don't think she's that good. She can catch submissions, and everything, but like, can she really like try to put the pressure, paced for sure, but like pressure, like to muscle up to make Valentina. I think that's the only deal why I didn't go with Grasso. That she's physically more powerful. I would maybe, not maybe, I would for sure go with her with that plus 460. Like this, I don't think it's enough. Maybe some surprise submission. Maybe if she can move enough and stay quick and doesn't allow Shevchenko to do what she do best to counter and go. There is a chance, but not enough for me, like to put my money on it. Maybe like on the Saturday night, I'm gonna change my mind, because I
Mhm.
really like that plus 460. But I don't think it's a perfect matchup for her.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Like you brought up a lot of good points, and if she was a little bit bigger, maybe you could give her a chance because her hands, her boxing is probably better than Valentina Shevchenko, but it's not boxing, it's MMA. And with Shevchenko's skill set, being a Muay Thai world champion, I'm always gonna lean towards a person with more tools, right? And that's Valentina Shevchenko, especially if you're banking on the puncher's chance, which you want to give everyone at least you get a puncher's chance, right? You could land that shot, but Valentina Shevchenko has fought Amanda Nunes twice, and she's managed to strike, stand up with her, not get knocked out. And Amanda Nunes is probably the most dangerous knockout artist in the women's like combat sports, across all the divisions. So Alexa Grasso, I don't think she could knock her out. So then it comes to, could she out grapple her? I do think the end of Valentina Shevchenko's reign is around the corner, but it's not going to be this weekend. It's going to be someone who's a grappling specialist. We talked a little about Erin Blanchfield. I think she's got a solid chance, but that's not Alexa Grasso's wheelhouse, so to speak. I will say, however, I wouldn't be surprised if Alexa Grasso can steal a round with a surprise takedown and maybe win that round. The reason being is because everyone knows that Alexa Grasso is a boxer, right? Shevchenko knows this as well. So that there's that little bit of a element of surprise. We've seen this a few times, right? Like Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman. Usman on paper and in reality, in the fight, is a better wrestler. But I think Edwards just surprised him with that takedown in the rematch, won the round. And then after that, Usman showed he is actually the better wrestler. So there's that element of surprise where I think Alexa Grasso can win a round with grappling, but in a 5-round fight, is her grappling good enough to actually win? I don't think so. So to say that Shevchenko is all around better, I think that's true, but let's see, she might lose a round against Alexa Grasso. That's as much as I'm giving or willing to give Alexa Grasso. I think Shevchenko's got this.
We are talking about the fight, not about the round.
I mean, for people not giving Alexa Grasso a chance outside of a puncher's chance, I'm saying right now, Alexa Grasso, she might hit a takedown. I'll say that.
Okay. There is no bet option on the betting. Like she will have one.
There's no. Okay, well.
But maybe. I would like, maybe I would put now my money. Maybe you persuade me. Like surprise takedown. That sounds
in a 3-round fight. In a 3-round fight, I like Alexa's chances a little bit better. But 5 rounds, I think it's going to show that Valentina Shevchenko is just a more complete fighter. So
yeah, I agree. Only what's worrying to me it's her last performance. But like, I don't think that Grasso has the same weapons to really make it like that. Like. I'm really wondering, can she move really for 5 rounds and just like stick 1-2, 1-2, move around 1-2, 3, like, and to stay to outside. I think like you said, 5 rounds, it's a long period for that. And we saw like even like most of us were thinking that Valentina is losing 3-0 in the rounds in the last fight, but she managed to come back, and I guess like she even won round 1 or 2 or 3. I don't know which one, but it is how it is.
I will say though, as a fan of Mexicans, and I know you are too, Alex, like I am kind of rooting for Alexa Grasso.
Yeah, that would be a nice surprise. Like I said, plus 460, maybe I'm gonna throw $20 over there.
Fun fact, Alex, I went to a Mexican rock concert in Hamburg. It was fucking awesome. And guess how many people thought I was Mexican enough to just start talking Spanish to me?
100%.
Yeah. 2 people. Yeah.
No, but like that's good enough. Like I don't think I would get even that number 2.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
So
I mean, there's some light-skinned Mexicans, maybe, if they're drunk enough, maybe.
No, when I'm drunk, I'm Mexican 100%.
You have to be drunk. They have to be drunk. I can see it.
Things happens then.
All right, so let's move on to a fight with no Mexicans, unfortunately. But we got Jeff Neal versus Shavkat Rakhmonov. Let's pull up this picture that Alex has blessed us with. Jeff Neal versus Shavkat Rakhmonov. I think a lot of people are pretty high on Shavkat Rakhmonov, but spoiler alert, Alex, you picked Jeff Neal for this fight, no?
Yeah, I just saw something and I couldn't go. Like I said, I even forget to mention the odds in the first fight. Um Jones against Gane. It's just like it's so no motivating. You see him like this plus 400 minus 500. You know, like, and I really see something that Jeff Neal can win this one. You know, like what I like, both of them, they're very composed. Like both of them have a power. Jeff is like really, I think, peaking in his performance. Like his last, I really have a really good opinion about Vicente Luque, and he
Mhm.
managed to get that win. Even um, how to say in that match, Jeff had amazing first round. I think he put like couple times Luque to his ass, you know, like, and he was like so composed, not rushing, like he's really like a calm and steady. And I think third time when he took him down, he went like for a finish and almost got it, you know. But what I didn't like in that fight in the second round, he allowed Luque to come back. And I remember even in that moment, it was a pretty high odd on Luque, and I saw him taking over the match. But he managed to come back in the third round and really beautifully finish that match. He put him like in the close distance against the cage, and with the uppercut and dirty boxing, managed to really brutally KO him. You know, so I saw many good things in that. What I said, I didn't like that in the second round that he allowed him to take initiative and to slowly start taking over the match, you know. And that's like one of the rarely when I make mistake in live betting, you know. But like I'm not even pissed about it because like it was like clear for me that Luque can take this match, and it was like I don't know, I didn't check, but I think it was like 500-600. You know, I'm always gonna put my money on that. So like I said, like what I see with Jeff, you know, he's southpaw, good power. You know, like he's composed. When he's in defense, he's really his guard is high. He sees everything. He's going for the counter. You know, so I see there is a chance, and I think this is the Shavkat hardest match so far. Even though what we saw from him so far, it's so impressive. You know, like even that short Brazilian guy, he was fighting in Serbia in his last fight after they kick him out from UFC. I don't know what kind of steroids he is. What's his name? Michael Pazeres.
Mhm.
That guy was never finished. Shavkat managed to finish him, even by submission. You know, like if you look like he's more stand-up fighter, but he's finishing. Like he's really good in those submission when he hurts people. You know, and not without the reason everybody he has so much hype around him, you know. And he's also very composed, have that power, amazing spinning kick, you know, like when he cannot find anything he's going for that to start opening the guys.
Yeah.
So he's very versatile, very dangerous, hungry, you know, like and we see it like 4 matches in UFC, all 4 finishes, you know. So but I think this is gonna be his biggest test, and let's see what's gonna happen. Let's say he's improved version of Vincent Luque and younger version, and Jeff had a success against, or let's say older version. Let's see how he's gonna do with younger, you know. And so that's the reason why I gave him a chance, you know. Like that was the underdog on this main card that I liked the most, so I went with him.
Yeah. You're crazy, man. Like, cause I agree with everything you said, and that's why I'm picking Shavkat. Because even though Jeff Neal is probably his biggest test, Shavkat Rakhmonov, he just has all the tools to win, right? He's got great striking. Jeff Neal does too. He's got power in both hands and the head kicks. But against Shavkat, like I don't see him landing against Shavkat even, honestly. And his grappling is great. His submission for MMA is great. Like I don't see Jeff Neal winning this. Like
Well, but
uh,
wait, give me a chance. You said now there is a puncher's chance.
okay, yeah, yeah.
Jeff has a puncher's chance. Like Alexa Grasso not so much, you know. So this is the very I was like, and we're gonna see at the end when we go to our picks and how much money we can get, you know, like.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be like I think this is the most competitive, or maybe not. Let's say Gamrot
Yeah, I think so.
and Turner are most the competitive fight on this main card.
This is the second most competitive, I think.
This is the second most competitive, you know,
Yeah.
like. So we will see. So this
I
is
would
the only
say
one. I think this is the only one on the card that we separate our ways, you know.
yeah,
And
every
most
other
likely,
pick that you have is like it's a brilliant pick. This one, I think you're just way off the mark though.
let's see. I had to make something different, you know. Like
Yeah,
I'm
that's
going
true.
for that big money, you know.
But I mean, like with Shavkat, what's super impressive to me is that not only can he strike, wrestle, and he's got the submissions, but his finish rate is 100%.
Yep.
And usually, when you see someone who has a lot of finishes, it would make sense for them to be very aggressive, very offensive, and just come forward. But like you said, he's extremely calm in the fight. He doesn't force anything. He's not forcing the knockout or forcing the submission. A lot of people are saying like, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool to see him fight like Khamzat Chimaev because they're both undefeated and they both finish a lot of people." And they think they have similar styles. I would say he's a lot different than Kamzat, like because Kamzat is very aggressive, and we've seen that sometimes get him into trouble actually against like Gilbert Burns. But Shavkat, what's super impressive is he lets the finish come to him. He's not forcing it, whether it's on the ground. He doesn't give up position. He'll do it methodically. And same thing with the striking. He's not charging forward. So to be that calm, that patient, and also get 100% finishes, like I think this guy's gonna be the next champion. If you think who's the top of the division, I like his chances against both those guys. So
Yeah, I need to jump in there. You know, like only thing where I saw him really struggling, that's when somebody puts him against the cage. Even
mhm.
though he has really nice takedowns, like with that, let's call it judo throws, uh, with the overhook on one side, you know. But like that's where like a really strong big guy like Kamzat can really explore,
Mhm.
make him tired, put him down against the cage, and maybe like start winning that match, you know. And
But
then
can Jeff Neal do that?
I mean he's strong,
Yeah.
but like he doesn't go that much in that aspect of the fighting, you know.
Mhm.
Like maybe like if he saw, maybe he's working on that, because I think if he makes like a, because he can slow down the pace, that's why like now I'm going in deeper why I choose him. And if he takes a smart approach, try to make him tired around the cage, then from there, like what he did in his last fight, what I really like, those uppercuts, the short punch when he completely shortened the distance, and then go back to clinch, move up, maybe like even some elbow, and there is a chance, you know. And on those plus 400, ching ching ching, we're gonna see later. Okay, enough about this one. Let's go to the next one, the most competitive fight of the evening.
I agree with this. Most competitive fight for sure. Mateus Gamrot, he's been climbing up the ranks. He unfortunately got a loss in his last fight, but I don't think his stock drops too much. He's going against Jalen Turner, who, he's dangerous everywhere on the feet. And then he's also actually coming off of a submission win. I'm kind of surprised that Mateus Gamrot is coming in as a favorite. Usually I go for the guy with more ways to win, and Mateus Gamrot's grappling, I think, gives him the edge. Maybe that's what the odds makers are seeing. But it is a short notice fight, and Jalen Turner, he's no slouch with the grappling. Albeit Mateus Gamrot, he's got very high level grappling. We talked about him a few times before now, and he's won some ADCC. Some of those championships over in Europe. Yeah, so he's no slouch there. But this is MMA. Jalen Turner showed like against another high level striker, Brad Riddell. He can use his length, use his precision to hurt you and then also get a submission. I'm going with Jalen Turner for that reason. I think having a full camp, being dangerous in the striking, using his reach is going to help him against Gamrot, who might have the edge in grappling, but again, can he close the distance without eating those knees and those long straights that Turner has? I forget. So I assume you picked Turner in this, yeah?
Yeah, I did too. I really like him in this matchup. Especially like Gamrot's short notice, and but like let's break it like this. Like number one, he's not only ADCC. He was like a KSW, like strongest
Mhm.
organization in Europe. I think he was like a champion in two categories. That's how he came to UFC as a really experienced double champ from from the Europe. Like I even had the opportunity a couple of times to watch him compete live on those ADCC trials on European fila grappling. Like I was also close to match with him in the final, but I lost in the semifinal. They fucking on the biggest robbery ever. Like they basically restart my match, and I was like in triangle already finishing, and then they restart the match. Ah, I
Damn.
didn't do that good. But never mind that. Like Gamrot is really interesting fighter. Like and he's like getting better from fight to fight. I really like how he fights. Uh, he he's fighting orthodox when he's striking. He's changing to the southpaw when he's going to the wrestling. Um, so something really interesting. So like if you're really smart and you can read him up, like you're gonna know how he. But like when he goes for those takedowns, he's really relentless.
Mhm.
He goes really low, trying to like do like an ankle pick, like grabbing up, getting the angle, and he is really like in those grappling exchanges, he doesn't stop. On the feet, like he has some KOs, but he doesn't have that much power. Like even if you press him, I think that's how you can break him. If you look, Jalen Turner, he has like five defeats. Let's be honest, like so he had some openings, but I
Mhm.
think he's now really peaking in his career. If we go, how many five fights wins in a row, all by finishes. So I think he came to the another level of his career. Also, what's going to be interesting, he's also southpaw. So that switch that Gamrot is doing to go for a takedown, it's not going to be that effective. And also every time covering and going for that, how he goes short, you nicely said there is a knees. Also Jalen like is much sharper with his striking. He goes 1-2, he goes for the kicks. You know, so that's another big problem. That's gonna be from Gamma. So that's why I decided to go with Jalen. I think he's just like a peaking, especially now on the short notice, how much like Gamrot can prepare good tactics and go for it, especially for the southpaw. We're gonna see. And that's why I'm gonna go with Jalen.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I have the same pick, but that being said, if Gamrot had a full camp, I think it'd be even closer, and this is already a very close fight. So I am leaning against Turner, but I mean, I think Gamrot, he's right up there, and if he wins, he's not a. I mean, but there's Dariush. His last fight against Dariush, I think, even though he lost, I was very impressed with the grappling exchanges in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm even surprised that he didn't end up on top like
Yeah.
with most grappling exchanges. I guess Daniel is underrated, and still under the radar, and don't get the opportunity that he has. I think that's the reason he doesn't talk too much. He's not super exciting in the cage, but he finds a way to finish the job.
Yeah, I mean, with lightweight, it's kind of hard to tell who's at the top right now, especially after that fight with Volkanovski and Islam. Like, who is next? Did they announce a title fight yet?
No, not. But I don't think Volkanovski will get another chance
Yeah.
yet, because like what I heard, he will first have to go and defend in 145.
Mhm.
What for me, if I'm Volkanovski, I would really try to push and like not go again, cut to, like now his body is settling for that 155. So I
Yeah.
think now is the best time to get that rematch if he's gonna get that win. Because if he goes again, change everything to 145, then again, I mean, it's gonna be even better for him because he knows now the procedure and everything. But question is how much time he will get. Will he,
Hmm.
you know? And number two, this is the best time. Like you're already there, just continue, repeat, and I think that's the best chance that he can win. And I'm surprised that they're not pushing more. Like I guess UFC wants to have two different champions. Because like if you have one, then like again you're shortening your market. Like now I'm also start think how they are thinking. More and more as the years passed and what we follow, and also like this now with Francis and everything, and you can just see like it's a run by fucking lunatic. And I think it's gonna be much more interesting when he retires.
I agree. I mean, I guess it depends on who takes over after he retires.
Yeah, I mean, talking about promotion, he's for sure best promoter ever lived. But
Mhm.
like again, like dealing with people and how many people like had such a bad relationship with him. Like it's just like something else. Like
You even hear some of that creeping in to some of the interviews with Jon Jones leading up to this fight. To go back to Jon Jones, but you mentioned with Dana White and how the fighters, are being treated. He was saying like, what is it going to take for him to get that money that boxers are bringing in? Because we've said it before, he's beaten everybody, high profile like legends, and he felt like he had to move up to heavyweight just to get paid. So I wonder if we see him get a big win, like if he's gonna kind of get on the mic and talk about that big money, I kind of wouldn't be surprised. But to go back to lightweight, like we're talking about, Jalen Turner has the streak and the finishes in a row to where if he wins this fight, I think you could make the argument for him being next in line, even though Beneil Dariush is right there. Like I think if he can make an exciting victory, exciting finish happen, he might be right next there. Like after they figure out what's happened with Volkanovski.
yeah, he's really interesting in the matchup, but I think uh, he would be easy matchup for Islam. Like because
I
like
agree.
if you put
Absolutely.
him down on the ground, like ah, and his wrestling is not there. Like so we will see. Like it's really easy. The reason Gamrot is favorite in this because Jalen, like if he is weakest link is like wrestling.
For
You know,
sure.
but like also like I see many things like with the Gamrot that again, like I said, southpaw and those knees, like if he really like because Gamrot is shooting low, Islam can take you up, like up from the clinch, like he has much more weapon and much more stronger than any of those guys. So yeah, let's see. Let's see. This is gonna be like I said, most competitive match on this card.
Hmm. Agreed. Next up, we got the hardcore's main event right here. We got Bo Nickel, who is doesn't even have a friggin' picture, but he's the main event against Jamie Pickett. Um, bro, like, have you seen Bo Nickel's last fight?
Yeah,
Dude, that is, I mean, I was very impressed. Every time you get a high level wrestler or any level wrestler getting into MMA, of course, they naturally just have a lot of power, especially in that overhand shot, right? But to have a wrestler who's, actually getting comfortable chaining submissions, going from an arm and guillotine to a mounted triangle, and then having the confidence to finish from the back. Once I saw that, I was like, oh, this guy's going to be a fucking champion because he's got the knockout power. He looks pretty comfortable on the feet. He's not rushing everything. I like how he's using his feints to kind of get people thinking. And then you just add the submissions, man, like I think I think he could take the champion right now, especially like Alex Pereira right now with like zero grappling. Um, but before we get to Alex Pereira, we're talking about Jamie Pickett. Jamie Pickett has more experience than all of the opponents Bo Nickel has had to date combined. So this will be his biggest test, but I think he's going to ace this test. And if you look at the odds, I think the odds makers agree with me. So are you giving? I mean, everyone has a puncher's chance, but come on, how do you see this fight going down?
Talking about that puncher's chance, just like I didn't see that in UFC. I think he only no, like even like only to enter uh, UFC, he had like a TKO with a punches win, and I don't know. Like in UFC, what I saw from him, I really don't see the way how he's gonna win this fight. Previously, like in his career, he had some KOs, this TKOs, uh, but like this is like high level competition, and what like exactly what you say from Bo Nickel, especially like that submission that he finished. Like how he really what I'm teaching the guys like toe pointing up, like making
Mhm.
that calf. Uh, how to say flexed, so you have more pressure on the neck, like it's really beautiful. Like he is a black belt, like he is doing jiu-jitsu and those transitions and everything, and
Yeah,
that even that entrance, like when he like shook him and then right away continue uh to going down. It's just like what we saw. Like you said, he's not rushing, but in his three fights, he had more less than 2.5 minutes. And that's crazy.
yeah,
You know, so I think he's gonna do this pretty easy. Jamie Pickett is just like two losses in a row. He was in this fight just to be like a sacrificial sheep,
yeah.
and to buy his tickets outside of UFC, and hopefully he will get some some love after this. Find some promotion that it's not gonna sacrifice him like that.
Yeah. I mean, if you're getting sacrificed to a beast, it's like I mean, after fighting Bo Nickel, there's not going to be another beast like that, and it's like it's almost like there's not. It's lose lose fighting Bo Nickel though, right? Because like if you lose to him, it's an obvious loss, but he's got 3 fights on his record, like, and you beat him, it's like all right, well he's new, right? So
No, but let's go like this. The hype that he is getting now, I think it put Jamie Pickett in the position that he was never before. He has more eyes on him. He is on the main card, on the big pay per view card. So maybe it's gonna be win position for him. Because if he puts solid performance, like he can raise his stock. And then if he gets like I mean, even if he puts like a good performance, maybe they're gonna keep him for one more. Like you never know. But I don't think in that category they're gonna keep you after 3 losses. But let's see what's gonna happen. Maybe he can shock the world. And like on how much is on him plus 850. You know, maybe you can throw just. And I was thinking like even in Dana White contender series a couple of times, I think it was like the similar odd. Bo Nickel was just such a big favorite. And I was thinking to put like few bucks on the other guys, and it's good that I didn't.
yeah. But I mean, honestly, the odds are so much in Nickel's favor. It's kind of worth putting, I think, a couple bucks on Jamie Pickett. Even though we're clearly, pulling for Bo Nickel to win. I think that's the smart pick. But like, also a smart pick is Jamie Pickett because he's such a huge underdog, right? There's so much to win.
Yeah, I mean he's also coming from Dana White contender series, and like you can see that persistence, how much he wanted to be in UFC. I think he went. No, I know he went 3 times, and then he got his ticket in the third time. So that's saying something about like how much he wanted to be in, and
Yeah.
now this is his ticket to get out of UFC. You know, maybe he will fight it. You know, like really hard, and who knows? Like everything can happen. Like I said, like he can slip and fall on his knee, and we have a Jamie Pickett as the biggest underdog winner maybe ever in UFC.
Yeah, I think Bo Nickel has to slip on like two banana peels strapped to dynamite, and then he could still win. Honestly, that's I could be eating my words like after the weekend, but that's just how I see it. Bo.
Oh, if that happens, like you're not gonna be. I'm gonna molest you for whole March. Like this today, it's the first March. Yeah, so you have 30 days of a little bit less because the event is like in 2 3 days.
Yeah.
Okay, we cover all the fights. Let's go to our picks.
All right, just a little recap of all of our picks. Virtually the same, and I think we go with mostly the favorites, other than Shavkat and Jalen Turner. So Shavkat, Rachmanov versus Jeff Neal. As far as our picks, this is where it gets interesting because that's where we're different. And for those keeping track, keeping score, which we are, I have the lead. So if Jeff Neal wins, this gives Alex a chance to maybe catch up to my picks.
You know what I would maybe and what I will maybe do? I'm gonna switch to GAMROT. I'm gonna put 10 more bucks and go with GAMROT because like
Yeah.
there is a good chance, but like again, Jeff Neal, there's a good chance that he will lose. So basically, we're gonna end up on even. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna decide on Friday. Usually, I do best thinking on Friday and Saturday morning. So we will
Yeah.
see.
Well, for the listeners and the viewers, stay tuned for Sunday because that's when we make the recap. Let's see if Alex changes his mind, put some money on Gamrot.
Yeah, and let's see what's gonna happen if this is you again. Not enough. Like imagine, like now you have to wait for this money to go to the concert. Would it even buy you a ticket in?
I mean, for two tickets, because I got a baby girl now. I got a girl, so I got to buy two tickets. Is a thing.
Okay, is this enough money to buy you two
You know
tickets?
what? It is enough for it. It's enough.
Okay,
It's enough to buy some cases of June Shine hard
okay.
kombucha. So I'm happy with that. I'm chilling. But let's see, because you went with Jeff Neal. So if you go with yours, okay, I see.
Okay,
A little bit of a big jump.
it's a huge jump. Okay, that's why I decided I saw the chance, and even like usually on my parlays, I'm never gonna put 800, 1500. I just like last time I think I skipped and I said this time let me just keep it, just for fun, But usually those are I'm not gonna even touch. I'm not even put like $1 on that shit.
I mean, just to bring it back just a little bit, back to Bo Nickel. Can you remember a prospect this this like promising in Bo Nickel?
No, honestly, that with 3-0 in UFC, I think he is the first guy. Maybe in heavyweight, I think was one guy from Australia. I'm not sure, but he wasn't that big prospect. He just like entered in UFC with just few fights, but that's heavyweight.
Mhm.
No, there was never like someone like him so far. Like
Yeah.
and let's see. Sky's the limit. Let's see how it's gonna deal. I have like couple when he start entering that top 10, then the things are going to start
Right.
being interesting because I
It,
think
it it reminds me a little bit of Aaron Pico. I don't know if you remember Aaron Pico's debut in Bellator. He had a high level wrestling, high level boxing, and he actually lost his first pro fight in Bellator. Maybe it was too much too soon, but it does kind of remind me of that. The difference is Bo Nickel does have some fights under his belt, so we've seen how he can perform, and also he's said it many times in interviews. He's used to the big lights from like the competitive wrestling. So
Yeah, I think he's one of the most achieved wrestlers ever, like in college wrestling. I think his score is like, you know, I'm not that I'm thinking, I'm looking now, 120-3. That's crazy. Whatever. If you're like playing chess with the kids in a high school, like it's pretty impressive, you know. So
yeah, as far as college, possibly Bo Nickel, but then you'd also have to mention like Henry Cejudo, who's a gold medalist in the Olympics, and obviously we've seen what Henry can do. You know, double champ. You know, so man, wrestling wins fights, but the thing with Bo Nickel is he's also got submissions and knockout power. So that's why I'm so high on Bo Nickel.
yeah, yeah, I agree with you. Let's see. Like
Any
this,
closing statements to this stacked card, Alex?
sure, what to say? I don't know. Like what I said at the beginning, I'm gonna say now. Like I'm really like excited for this one. You know, like it's really interesting card. You know, like I said, matchups. Like we have like two fights that you can see that they're really like it's gonna be competitive fights. You know, I mean any fight can get like also no Jon Jones too. You know,
Mhm.
but like. From the betting aspect, like I said, this is you can pick maybe couple fights that they're good in the whole card, but that it is. You know, we have pretty interesting March. You know, so I think this is maybe the best month in I don't remember with the stacks card. You know, like
Yeah.
we said, like we have Peter Yan, Shavili, I think next. Then we have Usman Edwards, and then what we have at the end. Help me.
Is it?
Sunhagen against
Right.
Vera.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So basically, amazing fights. You know.
Yeah.
So for this one, I just like I'm gonna probably enjoy. I'm gonna less bet,
Yeah.
more enjoy.
Sit back, enjoy the fights. All right, that goes for you and also everyone listening. But real quick, don't forget like, subscribe, especially if you've been listening this long. Come on, show some love. All right,
And you have to.
yeah. All right, ciao, brother.
So
Ciao.
have a good night.
Enjoy the fights.
You too.